Yeah. Listen. They flip the name, try to flip the page, but the story ain't changed. Copper blood in my veins, still here, still rise. Copper tone glisten when the sunlight hit. Original people, they been lying on the script. Erased up faces, but the evidence sit in the bones, in the soil, every artifact lit. Stop, they distort what the scroll say, but the lineage don't stray. My ancestors echoing in all day. I can't be erased, no way, no way. Stone cities in the dirt that they never taught. Builders of the science that the world still caught. From the rivers to the hills, man, the truth been bought, but the soul can't sell, not can't be bought. How come they reclassify, but the shine don't fade? How come the first ones walk where the flags got laid? How come the story buried in the false parade? Foundational, original, still unafraid, yeah. Reclassified, but the roots don't die, nah. The record won't hide, look, people still rise, rise, rise. Tell me how they gon' hide it when the proof still breathe. Carved heads in the stone, in the roots, in the trees. From the earth to the sky, man, the legacy sees. From the pyramids here to the seas overseas. They drew lines on the map, but the blood too pure. Changed names in the books, but the facts endure. Erased copper tones to the truth secure. Every law that they wrote couldn't shut that door. I'm the voice of the sun with the flame intact. Ancestors crowned with the gold that's black. They can hide the receipts, but we bring it back. I'm the proof for the soil and the world off track.
Y'all come on up in here. We about to get started.
Original in the land, no debate on that. From the mouths to the fields, we created mad facts. Every rhythm, every code, every science cracked. It's the breadth of the past that they can't subtract. Copper crown, skin glow, it's a fact, not claim. First builders in the dirt, first ones with flame. From the old world tongue to the modern slang. I'm the bridge to the proof that they can't contain. Their spirit still speak when the beat go in. And shouted in the lies that they reload. True history buried, but the roots still regrow. People of the sun, let the whole world know. Yeah, yeah. How come they reclassify, but the shine don't fade?
Come on.
How come the first ones walk where the flags got laid? How come the story buried in the false parade?
Why?
Foundational, original, still here, unafraid, yeah. Classified, but the roots don't die,
Y'all coming up in here, we about to get started.
Still ride, still standing, still riding, copper skin glow, ancestors still
let's go.
Reclassified name, but the soul still thriving.
We probably gonna run that back in a minute. But yeah, we're gonna run that back. Y'all coming up in here, get the likes up. We about to get started. We about to talk about the aftermath. You know, they got him a suspect in custody. So many things surrounding this brother, so many things surrounding this guy, and we're gonna talk about it. But y'all come on up in here, get the likes up. We about to get started. Those who are watching on YouTube, just go ahead and fast forward if you want to, just a couple minutes. But I'm gonna play the song one more time, and we're gonna give everybody a chance to come in the room. Y'all come in, show love to black content creators. So get the likes up. We about to talk about it. So I'm about to play the music one more time. This is actually new music. I'm working on my new album. It'll probably be out later, probably December, January, probably December release. But if not, definitely January. We'll have everything together. It's new music off the new album. Don't even know what I'm gonna call it yet. I just know it's new music. So it's called 𝗥𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝘁, and we're about to listen to it. Make sure y'all come in, put some likes up. You know, I don't ask for money. I don't ask for gifts, but I do ask for likes. Get my likes up, and we about to have a conversation. Once I get the likes to 10,000, y'all know how we go. I'll bring people up and we start chopping up the game. But we're gonna get into it today, man. We're still on this Charlie Kirk. A lot of things unraveling. I want to go into what this means for America, what this means for the political climate and political activists and podcasters, and what this means for foundational Black Americans moving forward, how we need to be moving out here. So we're going to talk about all those things, and I'm going to let y'all tell me what y'all think, because I want to hear from you guys. But while we fill up the room, go ahead and get the likes up. I'm going to play the song, and then we'll get to it. There we go.
Yeah. Listen. They flip the name. Try to flip the page, but the story ain't changed. Copper blood in my veins. Still here, still rise. Copper tone glisten when the sunlight hit. Original people, they been lying on the script. Erased up faces, but the evidence sit in the bones, in the soil, every artifact lit. Stop, they destroy what the scroll say, but the lineage don't stray. My ancestors echoing all day. I can't be erased, no way, no way. Stone cities in the dirt that they never taught. Builders of the science that the world still caught. From the rivers to the hills, man, the truth been bought, but the soul can't sell, not can't be bought. How come they reclassify, but the shine don't fade? How come the first ones walk where the flags got laid? How come the story buried in the false parade? Foundational, original, still unafraid, yeah. Reclassified, but the roots don't die, nah. The record won't hide, look. People still rise. Tell me how they gon' hide it when the proof still breathe. Carved heads in the stone, in the roots, in the trees. From the earth to the sky, man, the legacy sees. From the pyramids here to the seas overseas.
Come on.
Lines on the map,
The lights up, y'all. Come on.
Change names in the books, but the facts endure. Erase copper tones to the truth secure. Every law that they wrote couldn't shut that door. I'm the voice of the sun with the flame intact. Ancestors crowned with the gold that's black. They can hide the receipts, but we bring it back. I'm the proof for the soil and the world off track. How come they reclassify, but the shine don't fade? How come the first ones walk where the flags got laid? How come the story buried in the false parade? Foundational, original, still here, unafraid of. Reclassified, yeah, but the roots don't die, nah. The record won't hide, the people still rise. How come they copper glows to survive the rain? Yeah. How come they cover lies but the facts remain? Oh, how come the beat still bang in the vein? Yeah. People of the sun reclaim the name. Right. Original in the land, no debate on that. From the mouths to the field.
About to get started. Get them lights up, y'all.
Every rhythm, every code, every
Come
sign's
in the
crack.
room.
It's the breadth of the past.
Get them lights up. Show love. We about to get into it. We about to have a good conversation
First
today.
ones with flame from the old world tongue to the modern slang. I'm the bridge to the proof that they can't contain. Spirit still speak when the beat go in. Edge louder than the lies that they reload. True history buried, but the roots still regrow. People of the sun, let the whole world know. Yeah, yeah. How come they reclassify, but the shine don't fade? How come the first ones walk where the flags got laid? How come the story buried in the false parade? Foundational, original, still here, unafraid, yeah. Reclassified,
Come on, y'all, get the lights up. We about to get started.
Still standing, still riding, copper skin glow, ancestors still guiding, reclassified name, but the soul's still thriving.
All right, let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it, man. Let's talk about it. Before I start, man, I got to start with a disclaimer. I have to start with a disclaimer because there's going to be so many things that we're going to be talking about, and I don't want to be held liable for anything. So I got to start with the disclaimer, you guys. So we're going to get started here right now. This episode is a commentary and education. All defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Wherever details are confirmed, I'll say alleged or reportedly, we reject violence and we aim for clarity, not chaos. Okay? So with that being said, family, breathe. Just breathe. Okay? We just watched another line get crossed. Okay? Yesterday, I don't even know if it was yesterday, the day before yesterday, during a public event at a university. A suspect is now in custody. We're going to sort through the facts and the speculations. We're going to talk about what this arrest means. Let me move this closer over here. What this arrest means for America, what it means for political speech, what it means for every podcaster, every political activist, and what it means for foundational Black Americans. Now, we don't glorify violence. We don't spin out conspiracies. We demand truth and build strength. That's what we want. So let's just jump into it. Okay, let's go back to the timeline. September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, co-founder of Turning Point USA, was speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem. He was launching or continuing his America comeback tour. Okay, he was outdoors addressing a crowd of about 3,000 people. Approximately 20-25 minutes into the event, around 12:20 to 12:23 p.m., a single shot was fired from the rooftop, or either an elevated position believed to be roughly about 200 yards away, and it struck him in the neck. Following the shooting, there was a manhunt. Surveillance images were released. A bolt-action rifle with a scope was recovered. Bullet casings with inscriptions were found. Okay. On September 12th, authorities arrested Tyler James Robinson, 22 years old, on suspicion of aggravated murder, discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily harm, and obstruction of justice. He was held without bail. Now, Robinson is not a student at the university where this took place. He is associated with an electrical apprenticeship program, formerly attended Dixie Technical College. Authorities say Robinson allegedly confessed or implied involvement to a family member, which led to the trip to the law enforcement. Surveillance images and digital communications, Discord messages, roommate info are being used as part of the case. Now, the weapon, bullet casings, inscriptions, all these suggested ideological overtones, but as of now, motive, whether he acted alone, premeditation, or any conspiracies, are under active investigation. Leaders from both parties have condemned the killing, or the unaliving, Governor Spencer Cox, President Donald Trump have called for calm discourse. Trump described the killing as a heinous assassination. So that's what we know and what we're being presented so far. Everything else is under review. And with that foundation, let's just zoom out for a minute. Okay? if y'all was watching my yesterday's live, y'all would know that Charlie Kirk. If y'all know who Candace Owens is, y'all know that Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were friends. They came up together. Candace Owens is not an old woman. She's a couple years. She's early 30s, and so was Charlie Kirk. Early 30s, 31 years old. And if you saw Candace Owens' broadcast, you saw her, crying and trying to share the human side of Charlie Kirk. Now, I believe, and this is all alleged, I don't know, this is just kind of what I'm getting, and I'm not here to spread anything. So I'll say everything I'm saying is for entertainment purposes only, and everything is allegedly, because I don't know anything, But if I was a guessing person, if I was somebody that if I had more facts, I could be more definitive in this. But I would say this was a signal, or this was a message. Some people were saying that Charlie Kirk, although he was less critical towards a specific group of people, was about to change your speech some. And imagine having Candace Owens in your ear, standing on business, saying certain things about a certain group of people, about a certain country in a foreign land, and asking questions and digging deep. You see how she single-handedly took down. I always got to mention France. She single-handedly took down France to the point where they're at revolution right now, just by questioning the sexual preference of a first lady or first man in France's government. Brigitte Macron and her husband. They're calling for impeachment. They're calling for a change. They're calling for, a new government. Also knowing that France no longer has control over a lot of their African colonies. So that caused also to debacle. But I believe, back to Charlie Kirk, that this was a message. This was a signal to a certain group of podcasters, political commentators, even activists, as a sign saying, hey, this is what could potentially happen when you say the wrong things in public. Now, regardless of how we may feel about Charlie Kirk as a person, his ideologies, shocking what's going on and shocking what's happening. Now, we know the name, in the tone of investigation, caution, speculation, Tyler James Robinson. Notice how they always know the middle name of these people. Once you become an assassin, they know everything about you. They have a name, they have a manifesto, casing inscriptions. Who does all this? And now we find out that a 22-year-old kid is a great marksman. He probably should have been in the military. With that type of shot and precision, he probably should have been in the military. So he apparently does not attend Utah Valley University. They have some surveillance photos, some key alleged elements, some surveillance photos that match clothing seen at the event. Video showing movement on rooftop, jumping off roofs, messages on Discord, roommate cooperation. So obviously they've been gathering their intel, and also the casings, the bullet casings, they had inscriptions on them. So some are political in nature, some possible LGBTQ phobic, I'll say it like that, some reinforcing partisan or ideological phrases. These engravings are being treated as evidence in the case right now. What we do not yet have is full motive confirmed in public record. We don't have court transcripts yet proving what Robinson is intended. Co-conspirators, if any, are not confirmed. Whether this was planned long-term or more recent radicalization, though it's more political recently, as is alleged. Okay, we don't know really what's going on. Everything I'm saying is just going to be speculation. It's just what I'm speculating about. We don't know whether legal defenses, mental illness will come into play, or how the trial will proceed moving forward. But I will say some possible red flags, opening questions to listen for in the coming weeks is, what exact messages or communication existed on the Discord and social media? I think that's going to be very telling in figuring out what's what. How the inscriptions on the bullets will be treated in court. I'm just like, family, I'm tired. Like, who has the time to do bullet inscriptions? I mean, that's, obviously, being a foundation of Black American, we don't move like that. I've never known any gang violence or drive-by to have inscriptions on them. I've never known we had beef where it was that strong, where we would go after somebody for their ideology. We just don't do that. So it's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around the dominant society that they will actually take the time out to do this stuff. It's like, are you saying I want to be caught? Are you saying that, I don't plan on getting away with this? Are you just like, who leaves a paper trail to themselves? But how the inscriptions on the bullets will be treated in court, was the rifle pre-staged, or was it drop pointed? Did he bring it with him? Did he already have it at the place because he cased out the event? I mean, this is a 22-year-old kid, man. This is kind of hard to believe that he even did this, and that if he did, that he was a lone wolf, so to speak. If ideology alone is enough to convict or premeditation of murder or violence, or if the other factors will figuratively be heavily, we just don't know. We just don't know, family. We just don't know. We're in uncharted territory entirely. Think about this, family. I want to talk about the climate, right? Threats to public figures and political activists have been increasingly steadily. Studies show threats, intimidation, harassments are becoming normalized for many who speak publicly. Think about this, family. How are we going to move in a climate where you can be unalive for what you're saying? How are we going to move in a climate? And I'm speaking in the terms of Americans. I'm not necessarily speaking in terms of a foundation of Black American, because of the foundation of Black American, this has always been the climate for us. Always. We know at any given moment, any given time, because we stand on business, because we have there may be some controversy to our words, that if they would unalive Brother Malcolm, if they would unalive MLK, why wouldn't they unalive one of us? Why wouldn't they? We understand and know that we have a code, and that the code is the leader, and that we don't have leaders in our community because of COINTELPRO, because of the fact that when we do speak out like as bold as we do, that we understand and know the ramifications, what could happen. Social media radicalization, filter bubbles, moral outrage, perception of existential threat. These are psychological currents fueling radicalization. When people believe the other side is indeemably simply violence begins to look like the only answer. Campus politics, especially, are now running under high risk. What's going on with your HSBCs? Right? Right after an incident that happened with Charlie Kirk, now HBCUs, sorry, not HSBC, sorry, HBCUs, I keep thinking of the bank, HSBC, but HBCUs are currently in the crossfire and under attack. Somebody said, okay, I can't just say what you said, but possibly, and let me ask you this: why do you think that? If you can comment, AJN.347. Why do you believe that? Because that's possible. A lot of people think it was a foreign entity that unalived Charlie Kirk, but they have a suspect, a 22-year-old, Tyler James Robinson. Supposedly, this is allegedly, I don't know, I'm just going to say allegedly, but supposedly he went home and he told his father what he did. And his father, who I believe to be in law enforcement, turned him in. What is going on with law enforcement raising kids to be violent? What's going on with that? Is that a thing now, family? Where law enforcement is, especially the dominant society, the white law enforcement, like their kids are becoming extremely violent. Wasn't that what happened? One of the school pewers, right? Wasn't that conventionally Shapiro said he would take over for Kirk on college campuses? So you think that's what it was? You think it was just to make room for Shapiro? You think the small hats wanted to make room for Shapiro, and that's why they took out Charlie Kirk? Please elaborate on that. That's interesting. I know that Ben Shapiro was supposed to do to hold some type of event out here in California, and his event was also canceled because of what happened. But I don't really think anybody sees. Yeah, it was a sheriff's son, right? Yeah, it was a sheriff. Yeah, what's going on with all these sons of law enforcement picking up weapons? And listen, man, 200-yard shot, that's not an easy shot to make. How long was this brother practicing? If he did it, if he's the one, how long was he practicing to make a professional unaliving shot like that? And I don't understand. I mean, to me, it just seems really crazy, really stupid. Doesn't make too much sense to take the time to put inscriptions on the bullet casings. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would you do that? Like, how is that making any more of it? Is that like what type of meaning are we supposed to get because you inscribed the bullet casings? That's crazy, family. That's crazy. So there's tension right now. America values free speech, open debate, but open spaces also become vulnerable right now. What balance do we strike in this type of scenario? A Utah Governor Spencer Cox said this might be a watershed moment. Do we escalate or find an off-ramp? What do we do in situations like this, family? Because at the Foundation Black and American, this happens. This has been happening in our community. We come from a long line of people from our ancestry who are standing on business being unalived. From Fred Hampton to Malcolm X to Martin Luther King I mean, we understand, and many more who weren't famous enough to make it to the papers. You know, we can go back to the Emmett Tills. I mean, we're Trayvon. I mean, we're so used to seeing this type of injustice happen to us because we are doing what the dominant society doesn't want us to do, and that's spread a message that's powerful and that's true and that's righteous. And I understand that a lot of people are trying to liken. You know, I don't put Charlie Kirk in the same realm as a MLK or Malcolm X, any of them. He's definitely not on any of their intellectual level. He's a young kid at best. But when you're looking for a hero, and you come from a line of degenerate, think about this. They want to give Charlie Kirk a presidential send-off. They're likening Charlie Kirk to MLK, Gandhi. And let's be real, and this is nothing against this is not me putting him down, but it's just telling the truth. All he did was battle college kids who were in their 20s. All he did was debate college kids, and they're trying to make this guy out to be a hero. I mean, you should see some of the videos of people crying, grown men crying. And I'm not saying it wasn't tragic. I'm not saying, it wasn't emotional to actually be there. I'm not saying, think about, I mean, the man's kids were there. That was dangerous to their mind control. Yeah, over the youth. Yeah, I agree. He did have the minds of the youth. That is not a lie. Now, whether he was spreading the right message or not, some of it was true. A lot of it was white supremacist rhetoric and talking points, and obviously he was being funded, and he was being, that his job was to go around and capture the young minds of the youth, and he fell into a pocket where that was his niche and that's what he was doing. But let a Charlie Kirk debate someone like myself, or someone even greater than myself, someone like a 𝗔𝗍𝗄𝐻, or or just any FBA period. Anybody with that has a fully developed, mature mind, and we would destroy him. There was some issues that I can agree when it comes to some of the immigration. Yeah, I would have. I would have. He wouldn't have crushed me. I would have crushed him. Honestly, Charlie Kirk, that's light work. That's some light work. Him, when you say 55, when he was saying 55% of the murder in this country was done by 13 to 14% of the population, he was blaming the black community for that. Oh, I would have ate him up, because he's a per capita man. That's insane. There's no way we are 55% of anything. That's a lie. He just lied. When he said George Floyd was unalive because of fentanyl, that was a straight up lie, and we could debunk that easily. But with the coroner's report and what we saw with our own eyes. For him to talk down at black culture. Listen, it's so easy when you cherry pick from the worst of our community. But the real stats say 64% of foundational black Americans are in the middle class or rich. So when you're talking about 13 to 14% of the society, you're talking about 1% of foundational black Americans that participate in these crimes. So I would have destroyed this. I would have destroyed the Charlie Kirk. I would have destroyed him in any debate that he came with, because he doesn't have facts. He just has "I'm white and I say so," and his numbers are heavily outdated. And I don't care how much research this guy's done. Even without me doing the same amount of research, I know I would have debunked everything he ever said, because he's a kid to me. I'm 45. He's a child. I have experience on my side. I have scholarship on my side, and I have facts just like he has his facts. I know how to, and his talking points. It's not like it was anything new. It's stuff we've already heard these talking points before. We've already heard these talking points already. But what does this mean for America? What does this mean for the political climate? What does this mean for activists and YouTubers and just influencers moving forward who want to maybe they want to fill this spot? What does this mean? This means you got to have security and logistics in place when you go out in public now. That's what that means. Outdoor speaking events will need to be budgeted for security. Perimeter checks, surveillances, roof inspections, possibly metal detectors or buffer zones. You know, that's the climate that we're in, family. Just understand that speaking behind bulletproof glass is going to be mandatory from here on out. It's just going to be mandatory. If you're speaking and you're speaking controversial things and you're bringing in ideologies that people feel strongly about and are willing to be unalived over, you're going to have to protect yourself. Insurance and liability carriers will demand more from organizers, more premium costs for events and insurances where political figures speak openly. Man, listen, I'm like this, man. We're in a new realm. We're in a new world. Why even debate at these schools in person anymore? Why not hold an online event? It's much safer. It's much safer if you hold an online event than going there in person. So you got to be careful, man. Especially us. I mean, anything. Listen. We can't. If you're a Foundation of Black American, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody because anybody can be flipped. When it comes down to money and resources, and you are on the short end of that stick, and you don't have your money and resources together, anybody can get flipped. You know, it's time that we utilize social media more. It's not about going out, meeting, and listen, man, it's not about that. It's about controlling the environment. It's about venue, reluctances, and restrictions. That's what it's really about. Universities, municipalities, and public institutions will be more cautious. They have to be. Some may decline to host certain speakers because of just the climate. You okay? I'm gonna have to end my live here shortly. You sure? You okay? Okay. Yeah. Open campus events may be limited. More ticketed control. Registrations, maybe even background checks for attendees. I mean, all this costs money. So you're going to need to be well funded. Yeah, look what they did to Gaddafi. I mean, sharing your love with my thank you. Sharing your okay. I think she said sharing the lives, but yeah. We got to move differently out here, family. I mean, and things are gonna have to be done differently. I mean, listen, anyone, even myself, you know, because I say controversial things, and a lot of people, I get, if y'all ever looked at my inbox and what's going on in my inbox, and man, there was a time where every day, family, every day, someone was threatening my life. Every single day. Could you imagine an inbox full of just obscenities from people just crashing out, from Africans, from Caribbeans to YT to Hispanic, just all crashing out in my inbox, telling me how terrible I am and how if they see me in public, I mean, it's laughable. It's laughable, but how do you know which ones to take seriously? How do you know which ones to really pay attention to? Because at the end of the day, you're thinking, oh, it's just the internet, but you don't know how far these people are willing to go. You don't know how much they believe in, or what they're really willing to do for you saying something they don't like. So, speakers may have to tone down their rhetoric to avoid attracting violence or surveillance. I'm curious to see how Candace Owens is going to respond to this, because I truly believe that this was a message for Candace Owens, the Nick Fuenteses, the Tucker Carlsons, and many more people who have a certain rhetoric that's controversial and that's huge. That fix the prompt. I can't really make it smaller, but it says the aftermath, the arrest, and what's next through an FBA lens. That's what it says. So I don't really know how to shrink it down. I'm not good at that yet, but I'll get there. I'll get there. So audience might avoid being seen at certain events. You might find that when certain controversial speakers come out, people might choose to rather watch it at home than show up in person. Okay, because it's dangerous. I mean, look at what happened at a Trump rally, right? With Trump, people got injured and I think somebody was unalived. I'm not sure. Yeah, somebody was unalived at the I think like 3 shots was fired from the rooftop, and Trump luckily got out of grace. Somebody was looking, God, the Most High, whatever you want to call it, but somebody was unalived at that event. So I think it's going to detour. Large crowds might not be the thing anymore. Maybe it's better that you have a shorter crowd, and maybe you have people outside, or you can't contain. I mean, how do you control a crowd of 3,000? You can probably control a couple hundred, but 3,000, that might not be the thing anymore. Like I said, we might just want to start doing everything. We might just want to start doing everything on the internet, virtually. Yeah, virtually. That's what I'm going to say. Virtually. We might just want to start doing virtual stuff and not showing up in person, because it's who knows what yahoos out there and what they're willing to stand on and do because you're saying what you want to say. Some political messages might skew safer, more symbolic than confrontational. We might have to start speaking in code. You see, on TikTok, we have to talk in TikTok vernacular. We have to, speak in, certain things we're not allowed to say. We have to kind of codify it a little bit. And you might see people talking more like that because, whenever you have a polarizing and a political message, that's an environment for danger. That's an environment to piss people off, because one thing I know, when it comes to religion and politics, it seems like people are willing to be unalive for their belief, and they're willing to unalive others for their belief. So religion, they always say religion and politics are the two things you don't want to talk about. But we have to expect it. We have to expect more speeches to include more warnings, more self-justification, more framing of us versus them. Each side will interpret the event through their lens. We will see views. We will see the evidence being viewed as radical hate. Others might see it as a political theater or martyrdom. They're trying to turn Charlie Kirk into a martyr, family. Messaging will become more black and white, is what I'm saying. Think about that, family. They're trying to turn. Think about when you're down that bad. You're down so bad, and they really don't have any hero. Name a hero in the YT community that's not a degenerate, that didn't own slaves, that was righteous, that had the moral authority and the moral fiber. Somebody said Casper the Friendly Ghost. Name somebody in there. I mean, They're reaching for straws and trying to listen. This man did not complete his life. He obviously was unalive too soon, and his message was more of a white supremacist message as far as I'm concerned. So he can't qualify. But again, you know, if you will make a hero, Socrates, okay, Socrates. Was Socrates YT? I mean, a lot of people want to claim that, you know, the Greek and the Romans were YT, but they really were not. They were melanated. If you want to get honest about it, they just weren't. They may not have been Africans, but they were them melanated Europeans over there. If we want to get some real scholarship out. But yeah, I mean, they're reaching, family. They're reaching for a hero. And they want to give this guy a presidential passing. They're reaching. The Mexican indigenous kicked out the colonizer a long time ago in the 1700s. There's no such thing as a Mexican indigenous, just so you know. Mexicans are mestizos. And so Mexican indigenous, I don't know. They got bred out. So we're gonna get the scholarship of that. 90% of Mexican, no, you guys are conquistadors. Well, let's not lie. There are 60-70% Spain. That's a conquistador, sir. I'm sorry. Just let's just keep it true. Let's move on for that, because that's not the conversation. But don't lie in the chat, man. Be real to yourself, brother. There's no such thing as 100% Mexican indigenous, sir. That's a fallacy. You are a mixed race, a hybrid race, sir. That's just the truth of it. Okay? I'm just going to tell you the truth, man. I'm not going to lie to you, brother. You know, you might want me to say something differently, but the truth is, you are no longer indigenous. Spain and Portugal, they were very precise in breeding out that indigenous in you. They bred you out. You guys have something called La Raza, lighten the race. Where do you think you got that from? Where do you think that mindset comes from when you talk about lightening the race? There was no Caucasian or YT race that's indigenous to anywhere on this planet. They are a new species that came about in the last, I'll say, 700-800 years, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 1,000-year-old. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. That's why shit happens because you disrespect. I'm just telling you the truth, brother. Mexicans have the highest indigenous population in America. No, they don't. You and the Native Americans, same thing. You guys are not indigenous to this. Not over here. Not over here. Again, you've been bred out. That's the truth. Okay? I don't want you to waste time putting, you know, you can't back up anything that you're saying. Show me some scholarship on that. Show me the proof. Because we got the maps. We got the maps to prove it. There's a map in Switzerland right now that's worth $1 million that shows the true color of the indigenous people in the Americas. And there's only 2 in existence, and one of them I think is in Switzerland. And you can Google this. And if you look at that map, they don't show any Hispanics. I'm sorry, it doesn't show any Mexicans. It just doesn't. Doesn't show Mexicans. It shows copper colored people, my complexion, darker. That's what it shows here. When you talk about indigenous, you're talking about melanated people, sir. That's what you're not talking about, a hybrid race mixed with Spain. That's not indigenous. Sorry. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Expect political speeches to include more warnings, more self-justification, and more framing, more codified speeching. Pressure for more law enforcement powers, more surveillance, more funding for threat assessment units. possible legislation around political safety at events. You know that favorite word they love to use, pew pew control, at least pew pew restrictions at events. They're going to do all that stuff. I mean, it's safer to say that we need to do more virtual things now. People are just going to be more tuned in. I don't think people are going to be traveling as freely as we used to once travel. I think there's going to be a lot more restrictions coming in the future on travel, and this is the way that we're going to connect with each other. It's a disconnect, but it's a way that we're going to connect with each other in the future. I just believe that because of things that's happening. And again, if they don't want you to hear a message, they can just clip that internet, or they can mess with the what's the word I'm looking for? They can mess with the reception. They can block some things out and allow some things in. So, and some people in some part of the world can't get it. But when you show up in person, it's a different climate. It's a different climate, and things like that tend to go out more. So, we just have to be ready. So what does it mean for podcasters, creators, media? If you host live events, Q&As, lectures, debates, you're going to have to build like a safety checklist. Okay. Example, check all entry, exit points, roof access, vantage points, verify site maps, have medics and security, ensure crowd control. You're going to have all that stuff. And I'm sure, here's the thing, I'm sure that Charlie Kirk had those things. And even after all those things, I got to read this. Most Africans went to Brazil and South America. Only 40,000 African slaves came. That's a fact. 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 Yeah, be in a glass bubble, glass-proof bubble. That's what it's going to take, family. If you want to do events, especially if you're going to be standing on business. The fact you're a colonizer now, you're a troll, man. What can I say? Bios con Dios, adios amigo. Any more comments out of you? Block. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Yeah, man. You're a conquistador. This is a conquistador in the comments talking to me, man. He wants to be indigenous so bad. It's crazy. It's crazy. Everybody has pride in their own lineage. I can agree with that. Everybody takes pride in their own lineage. But I'm the biggest. You talking to daddy. When you talking to me, just know you talking to your daddy. I'm your father. I'm that baby's daddy. I fathered all those kids. And you're probably one of them. Back in my day, I was a rolling stone. Black, you can't even spell culture right, sir. Black culture stole most of your culture from us. No, it's actually the other way around. You stole all you. Listen, when y'all wear them high socks, when y'all wear them Nike Cortezes, right? That was us. When y'all had them low riders, that was us. So you stole from us. We don't steal. See, you won't hear us stealing from other cultures when we are the most influential culture on the planet. You won't hear that. You won't see a foundational Black American do that, man. We just don't do that. We're so good we can create our own, and then we can give it out to everybody in the world. Like, here, take this, take that, because we don't need it anymore because we moved on to something else. You see how that works? So, stealing anything from prove it. I'll say prove it. Lowriders, you copied us every single thing. The first music. No. Actually, lowriders, we didn't copy y'all. Y'all copied us. Lowriders, y'all got from us. We're the first one to trick out our cars and do those things. Y'all did that. And in what country did y'all do it in? Let's just keep it a buck. American culture is Black culture, right? Black culture is American culture. What country did you create lowriders in, sir? How come you didn't create lowriders in Mexico? Aha! Aha! Everything you do, was it first from indigenous? No. If it was so, you would have done it in Mexico first. You would have brought that over with you to the United States, sir, but you didn't. You didn't bring over lowrider culture from Mexico. You didn't bring it in. It was invented here, and you were in whose communities? What community were you guys in? You were in black communities, so you wasn't in the white community. You were in the black community. And one of our brothers, who I think he's like 6 years old, came here the other day and said that it was the white boy who dropped the car first. We just expounded upon that, and then y'all just copied and took it over. All that oldies music y'all listen to. Who are the oldies music that y'all listen to, sir? Sherry, baby, Sherry, can you come out tonight? That's us. That's us, sir. All that music, all the blues, all that stuff, all the oldies that y'all love, Earth Angel, all that stuff, but that's us. That's us. And everything you do is from us. The first music was yeah, bro. Now I know you a troll. AI warrior, a warrior, you are a troll of a troll of a troll of a troll. I'm not even gonna pay you any more attention, man. Everything gangster and urban and street where was from us, and that wasn't from you. It was from he's a troll. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna you know, people try to come in and distract all the time. This dude's a troll, man. You're probably African. You know what I'm saying? Now I think you're like African or Caribbean, and I think you're a tether. You're a troll, brother. You're a troll. But here's the thing, man. The way that podcasters and creators and just media people period are gonna have to move. You're gonna have to document everything, every single threat, every unusual DM, every suspicious spectator. It might be evidence later, so you must document, family. If you're gonna be moving out here, even myself, I gotta preach to myself. I got a long list of people who have said some egregious things about me and want to take my life, want to beat me up in real life. So even I must have to go back through my list, and I'm gonna have to start documenting. I'm gonna have to start saying, "Hey, Pedro, Mufasa, Ubuntu, and all the rest of them." They sent me some messages on TikTok, on Twitter, on YouTube. Man, they're threatening my life. You're gonna have to document this stuff. You're gonna have to have on-camera discipline. Avoid inflammatory phrases that could be interpreted as in incitement or calls for violence. You're gonna have to speak very precisely, very careful in your speech. You're gonna have to choose your words wisely now, because anything in the future they're going to try to interpret it as it could lead to harm, which is either good or bad. Oh yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing. I'm a foundational Black American, man. None of this, this stuff don't bother me. This is like another Tuesday for me, another Monday. I come from a lineage where just for whistling at a white tea woman, it could cost you your life. So all this stuff, I'm just saying this is the political climate that everybody's going to have to be a part of now. It's not just one group of people now have to move this way. Everybody's going to have to move this way now. Everybody's going to have to move this way. Platform risk. Live footage or recordings get shared fast. Platforms may remove content for violating rules or due to backlash. You got to have, we're already doing that now. We have backup channels. Some of us have 3, 4, 5, 6 channels ready when they take this one. This account right now is on active ban warning. I've been standing on business on this channel, and they could take this channel today, tomorrow, next week. So it's all gonna. It's what it's all coming down to is we got to understand that our speech is gonna be that freedom of speech. Be prepared. Censorship is coming back. Censorship is coming back. Now, how hard and how strong it comes back, I don't know, but I know it's coming. It's coming. Legal counsels and insurance. You're going to have to get general advice on liability, best practices, trusted security contacts, mutual aid in times of crisis. You're going to have to, fill out waivers and liability insurance. You're going to have to do all that, man, in advance. I'm going to tell you like this. It's going to cost more to do live events. Ticket prices are definitely going to have to be higher because you're going to have to pay for more things. Charlie Kirk, what I remember censorship in media started in the early, it's only gonna get worse. I don't see it getting lighter. I see it getting worse now. We just got to be careful. We just got to move different. We just got to move different, family. The world, America, podcasters, all of us. If we're gonna do public events, if we're gonna do these debate the college students, just know that if you're shaping the young minds in any way that the elite does not want you to shape them, you're a target. And you got to understand and know that you are a target, and they're coming for you. And if you're gonna be if you're gonna be a target, not that some of us don't care. Some of us like, man, I'm gonna stand on business. I'm gonna stand on truth. I'm gonna spread my ideology, good, bad, indifferent, and I'm willing to be unalived for this. Just understand that man. Make sure your family know. Make sure your family's with you. Make sure your family's protected. What I think was one of the most saddest things about the Charlie Kirk event was his children was there. He had young kids. Obviously, I don't know what type of trauma they're going to go through, but imagine growing up and then maybe remembering that day. Imagine that. But what does it mean for FBA, for Foundational Black Americans? The code first. Discipline, clarity, purpose. When others are rushing to the mic, we need to think strategy. Don't just put ourselves out there. I know we know this, but I'm just got to reiterate it because the rest of the world doesn't know this. They're going to have to move like this also, but we for sure in a political climate that's heating up. We have to be code first. That's why it's so important that we get on code, family. We need to protect our own spaces, churches, schools, cultural centers, Black media platforms. We need to build on strength, defensive infrastructure, physical, legal, digital, all of it. We got to be codified, man. We got to be smart out here. I don't know how many. Listen, man. I just know what's in my inbox. I would say triple that times 10,000 when it comes to somebody like a 𝗔𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁𝘀. We have to be careful of our brother 𝗔𝗯𝗫 is out there in the mix, walking around with his family. Man, we got to pray for that brother. We got to cover that brother. We got to make sure that brother is safe at all times, because we don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, we do know. We do know what can happen. We do know. So we got to have our own. We got to have ownership of the narrative. We have to refuse to let other define us after tragedy. Family, let our commentators, let our commentary, our truth, our framing stand. Do not allow mischaracterization of our people. When they try to all of a sudden dig up some dirt from 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, just so they can shape us in a bad light, we can't allow that. We as a people need to stand up and say, no. This man is an icon or a beacon in our community. This woman has done this and this and that. She still don't. We have to make sure that we don't allow the mainstream media to get a hold of our narrative. That's why social media is so important. That's why the new black media is so important, because we get to counteract that narrative with our truth. Now, of course, that not everybody knows about the new black media. Only those who are in that community, only those who are really from the grassroots know. The rest of the society, they're going to watch mainstream media and follow the lies and follow the rabbit holes and follow the conspiracies and follow the propaganda and witchcraft that they're putting out there. But we should know better. We need to have our own media. We need to be strong. We need to be aware of what's going on with our people at all times. At all times. We need to know our rights. We need to go back to the times when the Black Panthers walking around with those the Constitution books. We need to know our rights when engaging in public speech. We need to document interactions with police or campus security, know escape routes, vet venues carefully if we're going to be out there. Personally, I think virtual meetings is the safest place for us, but if we're going to be out there, we got to make sure that, I'm going to tell you like this, if you don't have the budget for security, don't do it. Don't do it. If you don't have the budget for security in this type of climate, just don't do it. Your life is more important. The risk is too great. Do what you need. Set up more virtual events and less people engagement events until you can until you can confirm your safety. Make sure man, we might have to go out there and buy our own bulletproof glass that we just walk around with, and we set it up and we get in that circle and we stay in that circle, and that's what we do. I mean, they're gonna have to dang near drop from the roof to get us. They're gonna have to do some Spider-Man, Mission Impossible type stuff to get to us, man. We got to make it hard for them. We got to make it hard for them. We have to build our own event venues, our own media channels, so we minimize dependence on institutions that might be hostile or underprepared. We can't let them secure our safety. We have to secure our safety, family. Mental health and resilience, we have that. These incidents weigh heavily. Okay, trauma is real. Rotate off rotate off of social media for some rest sometimes. Build spaces of care. Spiritual anchoring and accountability, man. If you're not a prayed person, this is the time to get prayed up. This is the time to find out who your God is, who your ancestors are, and build that, spiritual connection. This is your time to say, hey, man, this is time to get in alignment. Get yourself together. The climate is real out here, family. The climate is real. And we got to move with strategy. We got to move with strategic care. We have to. So How do we ensure campus events are safe but still free? I don't have the answers for that. That's something we're gonna have to figure out. How do we ensure campus events are safe but still free? Truthfully, I think the days of things being free is over. It's over. Security is going to cost, especially if you're a big ticket, especially if you're someone with 8 million followers on any of your social medias. If you got 8 million followers on your social media, you should not be moving around in public like you're a normal person anymore. Shoot, if you got 500,000 people on your social media, you might want to think about moving. You might want to think about getting you some security. If you're making money from social media and you're making some serious money in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, you might have to spend 30, 40, 50,000 just on your welfare. How do you protect yourself online after saying something controversial? That's another question we got to ask ourselves. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that either. Once you say it, you can't take it back. Once it comes out your mouth, everybody knows you said it, and somebody's there to screenshot it. Somebody's there to throw it back up in your face. If you today's realm, you can't really contradict yourself. There's really no room for growth because people will bring back up your past. Like, remember when you said this? How come you're saying this now? They don't understand that you grew from that situation, but they're going to throw it back up, and now you're going to have to defend it. So I don't know how you protect yourself from saying something controversial, besides just not saying anything controversial. I think if you're going to be up here on a platform like this, if you're going to be speaking, if you're going to be, especially if you're going to be a person that's standing on business, that's going to speak truth, you have to understand and know what comes with that. This is not for this is not. You can't be on social media and be a coward. I'll say it like that. If you're going to be a controversial person, understand what comes with controversy. Cowardice is not permitted. You can only there's only room for people who are brave. You must have courage. You must be brave. I'm not saying you cannot be afraid, because fear is an emotion, and we all must deal with it at some point. But I think you need to come to terms with what your purpose is, and if you're doing this for a greater purpose or not. If you're doing this for a greater purpose, then courage and braveness is all you need. If you're doing this for money and clout, this is a dangerous way to make money. Dangerous way to gain clout. Because at some point, if you're saying things just to upset people, just to put people on tilt, just to get likes, just to get clicks, I mean, people are going to come after you. Look at all these rappers who are saying just the most egregious things, and all of a sudden their TV got turned off. All of a sudden, Pop Smoke thought he was so gangster, he gave people his location, and people pulled up on him. So you got to understand, if you're out here in this climate right now, the way how hot it is right now, listen, if you don't have a purpose, if you don't have a mission or something that's greater than you to be in front of these cameras, these on these social media platforms, if you don't have a purpose for being on here, if your purpose is only to get clicks and likes, stick to dancing, stick to pranks. Don't get in this space that I'm in and start yapping at the mouth, because it can get dangerous. Terrible things happen all the time. So that's what I would say. I mean, you can. There's only so many ways you can protect yourself. So let me give you some action steps, and then obviously we didn't reach the 10K likes, so I don't think I'm even going to wait around to bring people up. I might just go ahead and end the live early. I got some things I need to do anyway. I think actually I'm going to attend to my wife real quick. I don't think she's feeling well, but build your own safety template, producer, security, legal roles. Make sure you're traveling with a team. Don't travel by yourself. Make sure you really got people around you that love you and want the best for you. Screen everybody. Do proper background checks on anybody part of your team. You need to know the people that are with you before you step outside. Carry all backup documentation, photos, videos, video recorders, chain of custody for evidence. Anytime somebody does something online and that's in a threatening matter, you need to hold them accountable for the words that they're saying, and you need to have the proof to show the proper authorities and things like that, so you can nip this in the butt early. Put the spotlight on them early, so if something does happen, those are the first people they go and visit. And I guarantee people will start leaving you alone because they don't want that. They don't want that smoke. They don't want that type of spotlight on them. I'll tell you that right now. Vet every venue ahead of time. Ask about roof access, exit routes, previous incidents. Whatever venue you go to, I would say if you're a foundational Black American, make sure you're going to make sure you're using a foundational Black American venue. You'll be much safer that way. If everybody else, you got to get in how you get in. You got to do the proper vetting. But I would say for us, just for our safety, we shouldn't be doing any venues outside of venues that we own, because there's safety and there's protection with your people. There's not too much safety and not too much protection outside of us. So we need to keep everything. We need to keep mostly everything we can. 85% of everything we can in-house. That's what we need to do. Connect with, connect with our security team, local law enforcement. Make sure that so I'll say it like this. Make sure your itinerary is flexible, and I'll tell you why. Because when people know your schedule, they know how to get to you. So don't be afraid to switch it up. Don't be afraid to switch it up. Don't be afraid if you feel something or you sense something to pivot. It's not always about delivering the message. It's about your safety first. We need our people to be able to deliver multiple messages, not just one message and then boom. Yeah, my dad said like this: your job is not to be contentious. Your job is to get home safe. That should be all of our jobs. Above any speaking engagement, above any controversial or any type of social event, our safety is by far the best. That's priority. Our safety supersedes all of that. So make sure your safety comes before everything. Forget how many people came to see you. If you sense something's off, hey, you follow your gut. If your gut tells you this isn't it, it's not it. Don't be afraid to cancel. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to move things around. Don't be afraid to change the time. Don't be afraid to double check and second check and triple check to make sure everything is smooth. Okay? And this is something we probably need to do, family. We need to create a creator safety network. We need to join and create a creator safety network. So when something happens, we are not alone. We need to I say this all the time, especially Black content creators. We got to come together. We got to start talking to each other. We got to start collaborating with each other. We got to start just extending love, friendship, mentorship, whatever it is. We need to bring value to each other, and we need to share information with each other, because we can have each other's back that way. We can keep each other safer that way. And I'll close with this. A life ended prematurely, but we don't end there. We build, we protect, we speak, we refuse to shrink. If you're a content creator, if you're a foundational Black American content creator, you need to understand that we accept the cost that comes with standing on lineage business. Put my we accept the cost. Foundational Black Americans have always carried the torch in dark times. This time, we need to light up the sky. We need to speak truth to power. We need to continue to stand on business. We don't shrink. We see what the playing field is. We see the terrain, and we understand our goal. We also know that some of us may not get there, but the code says that if one of us falls, another one will replace us. If one of us drops the ball, another one will pick up the ball. The code says we don't unalive, we multiply. The code says alone we're nothing, but together we are everything. The code says alone we're nothing, but together than we are alone. The code says no matter what happens to this body, the message will always be the message, and it will ring true, and it will be clear, it will be precise, and whether it comes from this form or another form, from this body or another melanated figure, doesn't matter. The code is the code. The code says I'm safe and I'm sound even when I'm not. My people are going to have my back. My people are going to take care of me. My people are going to make sure I reach my mission. And even if I don't reach it, someone else is going to pick up the ball and get across the finish line. That's what the code says. The code says, hey, they can't take us all out. They can only pick us off one at a time. And that's never going to be enough. So with that being said, family, hey, I'm gonna go see what's going on with my wife real quick. This was a good talk. I wanted to bring some people up and chop it up, but we didn't reach our 10K like goal. So I'm gonna bid everybody a good night, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, the next day. So with that being said, family, peace, love, reparations, and the block channel. Take care.